So now it is that your girl's recording. Let's go ahead. Let's jump into the next damn reaction, shall we? Now, Blackie Speaks. Shout outs to you. DaBaby. DaFall Off. So without further ado, y'all, let's go ahead. Let's jump into this next damn reaction, shall we?
In 2021, DaBaby was one of the bigger new names in hip-hop. Chart-topping hits, sold-out shows, and massive collaborations were all part of his track record. But in the span of just a few days, he went from dominating the music scene to facing severe backlash, losing major brand deals, and being pulled from festival lineups. How exactly did one of the faster, rising rappers in hip-hop take such a sudden dive? This is the story of DaBaby's fall-off after his controversial comments at Rolling Loud. DaBaby, born Jonathan Lindell Kirk, started gaining significant traction in 2019 when his debut studio album Baby on Baby shot him into the spotlight. The album's breakout single, Shook,
I still get PTSD from this
19 when his debut studio album Baby on
like this, like bro, that whole thing of what was it, Meat Canyon? Yeah, nah, ever since then I haven't looked at this picture the same way, bro. This baby daddy culture gonna fuck everyone's future up. Damn.
Baby shot him into the spotlight. The album's breakout single, Shug, was an instant hit, peaking at number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100. He took the industry by storm and built a lot of momentum as a result of this. DaBaby released his second album, Kirk, just months later, which debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200. This release solidified his place in rap, with hits like Bop and Vibes becoming fan favorites. DaBaby was always quite the character, someone who exuded a lot of personality and
the fact that you wanted me to look at the general chat and it was candy corn. Come on, bro. Right. Thank you, Babs. Like, hey, I don't know what you're talking about.
Had a very bold persona.
My daughter bring home like me, I'm beating him up. I'm for real. How you doing, sir? Wow.
That was part of
oh, wait. I missed that. I missed that. How did we get here? How did we get here that fast? I must have missed that.
Was always quite the character, someone who exuded a lot of personality and had a very bold persona.
My daughter bring home like me, I'm beating him up. I'm for real.
That's DaBaby says his daughter needs to date a geek. Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you know that you wouldn't want your daughter to date a man like you, wouldn't you think it is you would, I don't know, lead by example? Because now you got 2 daughters. It's not just one. You got 2 daughters, because he got that daughter by Miss is it Danny or Dan? What's her name? I know it's Danny something. I'm gonna say Danny. I don't know if it's not Danielle, but it's something like that. He's recently got that daughter. It's something with a D.
How you doing, sir? Wow.
That was part of his appeal. Hip-hop is, after all, a genre that thrives off of braggadocious personalities, and DaBaby was just that. By 2020, DaBaby was on top. He dropped Blame It on Baby, his 3rd studio album, which included Rockstar, a collaboration
do as I
with
say
Roddy
and not
Ricch.
as I do.
Rockstar went on to become one of the biggest hits of 20.
That's not gonna work, gang. Unless if it is that DaBaby's gone ahead and like teaching his daughters to what to look out for within men. You can do all that preaching as much as it is that you want to, but then they're gonna find out on their own. You know, the easy way, or unfortunately the hard way in some cases.
2020, topping the Billboard Hot 100 for 7 weeks and achieving multi-platinum status globally. DaBaby was performing at award shows, headlining festivals, and collaborating with major artists. He seemed unstoppable. At this point, DaBaby had collaborations with some of the biggest names in the industry, including Megan Thee Stallion, Post Malone, and Lil Baby. He was a staple at the award shows, and his live performances were highly rated. But just as DaBaby's career reached its peak, it would all start to crumble. By mid-2021, a DaBaby who seemed unstoppable would set off a chain of events that led to his reputation plummeting. The defining moment in DaBaby's fall came on July 25th.
And chat, y'all better not say it. Y'all better not say it. Y'all better not say this. I looked over and I looked back to this and I said, golly, that is a lot of blue. That is a lot of blue. Well, for me to say something is a lot of blue, that there's no such thing. However, he got on a lot of blue.
2021, during his performance at the Rolling Loud Festival in Miami. In the middle of his set, DaBaby made a series of controversial and offensive remarks that targeted the LGBTQ community.
You didn't show up today with HIV, any of them deadly sexually transmitted diseases that'll make you die in 2-3 weeks, put a cell phone like that up.
If you didn't show up with HIV, sexually transmitted diseases that'll make you die in 2 to 3 weeks, then put your cell phone lighter up, DaBaby told the attendees. Ladies, if your private parts smell like water, put your cell phone lighter up. Fellas, if you ain't sucking DICK in the parking lot, put your cell phone lighter up. The comments quickly went viral, sparking outrage across social media platforms. Social media exploded with criticism, and what seemed to be the entire world quickly began calling out DaBaby for his comments. It wasn't entirely his own fans though, as the majority of the criticism and noise came from the LGBT community. After facing initial backlash for his comments at Rolling Loud, DaBaby posted a series of videos and statements on social media where he appeared to double down on his remarks.
What me and my fans do at the live show, it don't concern you niggas on the internet or you bitter on the internet. It's not y'all business. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I do at a live show is for the audience at the live show. It'll never translate correct.
Trickster! For the 28 months.
Big MF 28.
Type shit. I think, honestly, I don't know who the baby's PR assistant is, but I know it is. You are probably having them running through the roof with this. This is not... It's one thing it is if you made a mistake on stage and said something like that came off a little offensive, but standing on the business and doubling down on it never helps your case. That never helps your case, gang. And what's up, Sean? How are you? That never helps your case in that type of lighting. Like, to say it is like, oh, this is just for my friends, it's not for you internet niggas, this and this. What do you think it is that your fan base is? Like, not everybody can able to have the opportunity to even go to the Rolling Loud, so most of it is watching it through the internet. So it's not good to where it is that you're like trying to shit on people, and on top of that too, you're talking about a whole community within itself where, you know, STIs and STDs and like HIV and AIDS, that's a very serious thing within our community as African Americans or minorities, people of color, and of course with the LGBTQ plus community. Like that's offensive.
Directly to somebody looking at a little 5-6 second clip.
On top of this video where he was standing firm on his words, he also put up the following tweet on Twitter, specifically mentioning the pushback from the LGBT community, refusing to apologize to them. Anybody who done ever been affected by AIDS, HIV, y'all got the right to be upset, DaBaby said. What I said was insensitive even though I have no intentions on offending anybody, DaBaby said. So my apologies. But the LGBT community, I ain't tripping on y'all. Do you. Y'all business is y'all business.
I don't think it is that I remember this tweet, but it's like you started out great and then you just sank at the end of that. Like, come on, bro. Like, that sounds crazy.
Ended it with advocacy groups, particularly those supporting LGBTQ plus rights and HIV awareness, condemned the statements, urging DaBaby to educate himself on the issues he had spoken about. Hashtags calling for his cancellation began trending on Twitter, and the controversy spread far beyond the hip-hop world, reaching mainstream media outlets. Aside from fans and people in general, some of his fellow artists also expressed disappointment and anger over his comments, which were widely condemned as insensitive and harmful. Major media outlets picked up the story, and the backlash grew rapidly. What was initially just a moment on stage soon became a full-blown public relations disaster for DaBaby. English-Albanian singer and songwriter Dua Lipa, who had recently collaborated with him on a remix of her hit song, Levitating, publicly distanced herself from him. She expressed her disappointment and support for the communities that were hurt by his comments. Elton John, a longtime advocate for HIV/AIDS awareness, also weighed in, criticizing the rapper's remarks by promoting education on the subject. What started as an isolated moment during a festival performance quickly snowballed into a major crisis for DaBaby, one that would have immediate and long-lasting consequences for his career. Now, the backlash wasn't confined to just social media. As the controversy grew and the backlash intensified, the real-life repercussions to DaBaby's comments were severe. His money was now getting affected by the words he said on that stage. The music industry began to take action. Literally within days of his Rolling Loud performance, DaBaby started getting dropped from major music festivals, Lollapalooza, one of the largest music festivals in the US, was among the first to remove him from their lineup, citing the controversy as the reason. This was soon followed by cancellations from other festivals, including Governor's Ball, Day in Vegas, and Austin City Limits. For an artist who had been a staple in headlining these types of events just months prior, this wave of cancellation was unprecedented. Hip-hop had never seen anything like this until this incident happened. DaBaby's public persona undoubtedly took a serious hit, and the financial repercussions were severe. Yes, he was a
I mean, he made an outlandish statement and then doubled down, tripled down on it at this point. Like, at this rate, like I said, if you made a mistake, then that's, you know what I mean? The biggest thing is acknowledging the mistake it is that you made, make your statement, and then move forward with it. Some companies will still look at you a little sideways, but they'll still rock with you. They'll still rock with you. But when you doubling down and tripling down, all that, does he still make music? Yes, he does. But when you're doing stuff like this, now there's a sense of that you don't care. You don't care about the statement it is you said. You don't care about the fact of how insensitive that sounded to other people, the people it is you heard it. None of that. Oh, what's up, Jedi? Like, when you start saying stuff like that, that's when it is that, like, companies are like, no, you're a flight risk. You are a complete flight risk to this. You know, we can't have that. We can't have that. At the end of the day, business is business. So, you know, when those statements start to come out, then that got to be respected.
Rich rapper with millions at this point, but it's undeniable to say that it hit him pretty hard despite the blessed position he was in. The festivals who canceled his performances cited his comments as a reason for dropping him, which created even more festivals to follow suit, and the growing pressure from the public, fans, artists, and activists were calling for accountability. At the same time, DaBaby's commercial partnerships began to fall apart. Clothing brands and sponsorships cut ties with him, fearing the negative associations from the controversy. UK fashion brand Boohoo Man, that had partnered with DaBaby on a clothing line earlier in 2021, was one of the companies that severed ties, fearing the backlash would negatively affect the reputation of their brand. In a public statement, the company condemned his comments and confirmed they would no longer work with him, stating, "We do not
this isn't Patrick CC. This is Blackie Speaks.
Tolerate hate speech or discrimination in any form." Burger King also had a collaboration in the works with DaBaby during that time, but they ended up dropping him for the partnership after the controversy, as stated by DaBaby himself.
I don't even know if I'm supposed to speak on this, but whatever. I had my own meal at Burger King. A lot of people don't know that. It was called the Jonathan Kirk meal. They wanted to use my name.
Several radio stations, particularly in larger markets, reduced or completely stopped playing DaBaby's music. In addition, some major streaming platforms such as Spotify and Apple Music reportedly removed his songs from prominent playlists, further reducing his ability.
Now I see why did you ask that question, Blue. Because from a grand scheme of things, you would think it is he doesn't make music, but he still does. I noticed he just recently did like a release on like a song not too long ago within this year. But I mean, at this point where it's like not only like you got to realize the comment it is that you said, one, and the target audience it is that you said that too. Like, there's one thing it is that I could able to say is about the people within the LGBTQ community does not play around with stuff like that. That's a highly insensitive thing it is that you said, and you had no regard about what you said, how you said it, and then you doubled down on it. The funny thing is like DaBaby, he's actually a decent rapper. Thank you, Blue. He's a decent rapper. And especially like freestyling too, decent. But it's like, come on, gang. People aren't gonna sit there and take you serious when it is like you start being like that. He be spazzing. That's what I was like, come on, bro.
And reach in the wake of the controversy. His life at this point simply had turned upside down, and all this had happened in the span of a single week. By early August 2021, DaBaby's career was in freefall. After some deep reflection, this is when he attempted to respond with a series of statements on social media, apologizing. DaBaby was expressing his regret for his comments and acknowledged the pain his words caused and indicated that he was willing to educate himself. The shift from defiance to apology hinted at some level of emotional processing as he came to terms with the widespread condemnation he faced. Social media moves so fast that people want to demolish you before you even have the opportunity to grow, educate, and learn from your mistakes. As a man who has had to make his own way from very difficult circumstances, having people I know publicly working against me. Knowing that what I needed was education on these topics and guidance has been challenging, DaBaby said. I appreciate the many people who came to me with kindness, who reached out to me privately to offer wisdom, education, and resources. That's what I needed, and it was received. I want to apologize to the LGBTQ plus community for the hurtful and triggering comments. Again, I apologize for my misinformed comments about HIV/AIDS, and I know education on this is important. Love to all. God bless, DaBaby ended it with. Despite this public apology, many felt that it came too late. Advocacy groups, including GLAAD, invited DaBaby to engage in meaningful conversations about the issues he had addressed in his remarks, but his public sentiment remained largely negative. DaBaby's apology was met with skepticism, with critics questioning the sincerity of his change of heart. Some people, including artists and fans, began to accept the apology, but the broader backlash had already reshaped the public perception of DaBaby. The controversy now defined his image, and it was unclear whether he could fully recover from it. His streaming numbers took a hit, and his music overall took a noticeable dip in popularity. The overall media narrative surrounding DaBaby was no longer about his talent or his chart success, it was about the controversy and his fallout. The long-term consequences of the Rolling Loud controversy were significant. Throughout late 2021 and into 2022, DaBaby has struggled to regain the level of success he had previously accumulated. Although he continued to release music, none of his singles or projects matched the heights of his earlier work. His songs, once guaranteed hits, failed to make the same impact on the charts, and his mainstream appeal appeared to be waning. DaBaby's live performances also took a hit. Several reports emerged of canceled shows due to low ticket sales, a stark contrast to the packed venues he had headlined just months prior. This marked a major shift in his trajectory. Once a festival headliner and sought-after performer, DaBaby was now facing a significant decline in demand. By 2023, the effects of the controversy were still evident. While DaBaby retained a loyal core fan base, his mainstream success had clearly taken a hit. Collaborations with other major artists became less frequent, and his ability to draw larger audiences to shows diminished. Although DaBaby remained and still remains active in the music industry, the Rolling Loud incident continued to cast a shadow over his career.
I mean, it's not even like, I can't even say it's the Rolling Loud situation definitely was the main reason to why, but then you got the situation with Megan Thee Stallion when it is that she went through that situation of being shot in the foot. He's made some comments about with her, the second baby mama with Danny Lay, I think is her name is. You know, that controversy within her, and like you going on live and saying it is like this woman's crazy, all this other stuff. It's like at this rate, it's not even just you already made a big mistake as it is. Now you're sitting there and you're talking illy on women. Anytime where it is you start doing stuff like that already and you've already made an offense, a serious offense publicly like that, you double down, triple down on it. And now that's why it is the apology came too late. And then there was other things that was going on that people were like, I don't know, I'm not really rocking with this as of right now, you know? Yeah, he had baby mama drama. Like, not even just with his first baby mama, his second one. He was even going as far as saying like he would go back to the first one and everything like that. It's just like, ugh, you're not helping your case.
I'm wondering if he could ever fully recover from the backlash. DaBaby's fall from grace was one of the most dramatic in recent hip-hop history. In just a matter of weeks, the rapper went from dominating the charts and headlining festivals, to his music losing popularity, to being shunned by the music industry, and facing a massive public wave of backlash. His comments at Rolling Loud in 2021 triggered a chain reaction of events that would fundamentally alter his career trajectory. Aside from the Rolling Loud comments, which severely affected his money and reputation in the ways we discussed, DaBaby also had some other moments that didn't really help his case, one of them being his sudden decline in album sales. In April of 2020, DaBaby released Blame It On Baby, his biggest album to date, which dropped at the height of his success. The album debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 chart, selling 124,000 equivalent album units in its first week. This included streaming figures, with the album generating 158 million on-demand streams, which were phenomenal numbers. The album's strong sales were boosted by the success of its lead single, Rockstar, featuring Roddy Ricch, which was one of the biggest songs of 2020, and it helped drive the album's commercial performance overall. Fast forward 2 years later, in September 2022, DaBaby released Baby on Baby 2, the sequel to his breakout 2019 album, Baby on Baby. The album was expected to bring him back to chart success, but it underperformed significantly compared to his previous projects. Baby on Baby 2 debuted at a lowly number number 34 on the Billboard 200, selling only around 17,000 units in its first week, an enormous drop from his earlier work. In comparison to his 2020 album, Blame It On Baby, which, like we stated, had debuted with 124,000 units in its first week. And this was a huge shift in the downward performance of his commercial success. DaBaby was someone who had the entire industry in a chokehold for a good 2 years. His music was everywhere, and he was on top numbers-wise, and now he couldn't even sell over 20K first week. Earlier that year, he also dropped another project titled Better Than You, which was a joint project with rapper NBA Youngboy. That project sold merely 30K in first week sales. In the same month as his underwhelming album sales in September 2022, DaBaby also started seeing a shift in his ticket sales. He had a concert scheduled that month in New Orleans that was canceled due to extremely low ticket sales. The concert, which was set to take place at the Smoothie King Center, a venue that holds around 14,000 people, had sold fewer than 500 tickets leading up to the event. This low turnout was particularly striking given that DaBaby had previously been a top headliner at festivals just a year or two earlier, and he was able to pull big crowds of people. But that sadly changed. The promoters for the event eventually canceled the show, and the decision was attributed to unforeseen circumstances. However, sources reported that the real reason for the cancellation was the underwhelming ticket sales, which wouldn't be too far-fetched considering the situation he was in. The New Orleans incident highlighted the dramatic fall in DaBaby's popularity following the controversy surrounding his rolling loud comments and other public incidents. Despite his earlier ability to pack large venues, the drop in ticket sales reflected the diminished demand for his live performances. This event further contributed to the narrative that DaBaby's career had taken a steep downturn since the height of his success in 2020. Now, the album sales weren't the only thing that contributed to this fall. We do also have his violent and aggressive behavior. Now, this is something that actually fueled his popularity in a lot of ways. DaBaby was, after all, a rapper in hip-hop, and rappers sadly tend to be praised for their dysfunctional behavior in the genre. It was no different for Jonathan Kirk. Even though his behavior helped him gain popularity in the beginning, it did in the end contribute to the narrative that DaBaby was delivering more actual hits than musical hits. Let's go over some of those incidents, starting with the Walmart shooting. In November 2018, DaBaby was involved in a deadly shooting at a Walmart in Huntersville, North Carolina. The incident began when DaBaby, whose real name is Jonathan Kirk, was shopping with his then girlfriend and their children. An altercation broke out between DaBaby and two men, leading to a physical confrontation. According to reports, the situation escalated quickly and DaBaby shot 19-year-old Jalen Craig. DaBaby claimed self-defense, stating that Craig and his friend were attempting to rob him and that he feared for his life. Video footage of the incident later surfaced. Though it did not capture the entire encounter, the court decided that DaBaby was in fact defending himself. He was initially charged with carrying a concealed weapon, but not with the shooting itself, as authorities accepted his claim of self-defense. He was sentenced to a year of unsupervised probation for the weapons charge. While the legal consequences were minimal, the shooting attracted significant media attention, with many questioning the circumstances surrounding it. After DaBaby blew up in the mainstream, this was one of the main stories he was involved in that highlighted his aggressive behavior, adding to the list of controversies that have affected his public image. We also have the brutal beatdown in the LV store in 2019. In 2019, DaBaby was involved in an altercation at a Louis Vuitton store in Charlotte, North Carolina, with a local rapper named Cam Coldheart. The incident was caught on video and widely shared on social media. The footage showed a confrontation between DaBaby and Cam Coldheart, during which Coldheart repeatedly taunted DaBaby.
Oh, get away, you scary ass nigga. Get away. Get the police get away.
Moments later, well, DaBaby beat Cam Coldheart in the LV store so badly he left him with no pants on the floor.
Punk Cam Coldheart. Punk Cam Coldheart. I'm the truth, nigga. Knock them out. Me. Dolo.
This beat down, for better or worse, boosted his street credibility and aligned DaBaby with the tough, aggressive persona that often appeals to rap audiences. The incident reinforced his reputation as someone who could handle confrontation, which is a quality that we all know can elevate a rapper's image in a genre where toughness and authenticity are often prized. The next violent altercation involving DaBaby after the LV store incident occurred in March 2020 was when he slapped a female fan at a concert in Tampa, Florida. The incident happened as DaBaby was making his way through a crowd to the stage. A woman in the audience got too close with her phone, using the flash in his face. In response, DaBaby slapped the woman with all of his manpower. This incident sparked significant outrage, with fans and critics condemning his actions. He later issued an apology, claiming he did not know it was a woman due to the flash and stating that his reaction was reflexive. Despite his
I mean, that's still wild, gang. That's still wild as hell. Like, you used all your strength into doing that? Like, that's... No. You shouldn't have done that at all. like, oh my God, you shouldn't have done that at all, because she had, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's accidental. If it was accidental to have one of these, you know what I mean? Like, that's not a justification of doing that. Oh my God.
Apology, the incident added to his growing reputation for violent behavior and sparked further controversy surrounding his public persona. The violence continued, and in 2020, there was another incident that occurred in Miami where DaBaby and his crew allegedly attacked a concert promoter. It happened in January 2020, and the altercation was reportedly over a payment dispute. The promoter, who filed a $6 million lawsuit, claimed that DaBaby and his associates had beaten and robbed him. In addition to failing to show for an event he paid him $20,000 to host. He also claimed that DaBaby and his crew stole his phone, money, and debit card. In the end, he won the lawsuit as the court deemed this case as a celebrity cash grab. Now, the violence, sadly enough, didn't stop here, and in February 2022, DaBaby got into a physical altercation with Brandon Bills, the brother of singer Danny Lay, his then girlfriend, at a bowling alley in Los Angeles. Video footage of the incident shows DaBaby and his entourage attacking Bills on the slippery bowling lane, with punches being thrown and Bills eventually being knocked down. This fight, which stemmed from the public fallout between DaBaby and Danny, was caught on camera and quickly went viral, adding to DaBaby's ongoing string of public altercations. The next violent encounter after DaBaby's February 2022 altercation with Brandon Bills at the bowling alley occurred in April 2022. DaBaby was involved in a shooting incident at his property in Troutman, North Carolina. According to reports, DaBaby shot a man who had trespassed on his property. The man sustained non-life-threatening injuries and was treated at a hospital. DaBaby admitted to being the one who pulled the trigger, and authorities confirmed that he acted in self-defense as the trespasser had entered his property unlawfully. The shooting incident did not lead to charges for DaBaby, as it was considered a case of protecting his home. This incident further fueled DaBaby's reputation for being involved in violent encounters, though this time it was largely seen as justified under self-defense laws. The next one after this actually happened with his own artist, Wisdom. Backstage at the Spring Jam 2022 concert in Columbia, South Carolina, video footage captured DaBaby unexpectedly swinging at Wisdom, who was signed to DaBaby's billion-dollar baby entertainment label at the time. The two exchanged punches before being quickly separated by security. While the cause of the altercation remains unclear, the incident added to DaBaby's growing list of public confrontations and controversies, and this one caused a lot of negative press for him because it specifically involved someone he had signed to his record label. Despite the fight, neither DaBaby nor Wisdom faced legal action following this incident. Aside from just the violence, he was also in another viral story during this time, which involved him forcing a kiss on a woman. In April 2022, DaBaby faced backlash after a video surfaced showing him attempting to kiss a female fan outside a hotel. In the video, DaBaby is seen leaning in to kiss the fan, but she pulls away, rejecting his advances. Despite her clear refusal, DaBaby tries to kiss her again. The incident was captured by someone in the crowd, and the video quickly went viral on social media. As you can clearly see, DaBaby's career was full of PR disasters way before the Rolling Loud incident.
Yes.
This is one of the many reasons why his name started to lose power during the height of his success. Everything he did was clouded with continuous controversy, and I think people, even his own fans, just had enough of it. On top of this, a lot of people felt like he also wasn't improving music-wise, the biggest criticism being regarding his flow. DaBaby does have a pretty one-sided flow, which is ironically the same flow that made him popping. As for how DaBaby handled his sudden decline in fame and popularity, his approach overall was a mix of resistance, regret, and him coming to terms with the situation he was in. Following the fall off from his Rolling Loud comments and multiple controversies, DaBaby, like we showed, had a lot of tone-deaf responses. He doubled down on social media after facing backlash, often dismissing critics and refusing to acknowledge the severity of the public's response. This didn't last for long, however, as the consequences of his actions became more apparent, being dropped from major festivals, losing brand partnerships, and seeing a decline in music sales. Reality eventually hit him in the face. He issued more formal apologies, particularly addressing the LGBTQ+ community and those hurt by his comments. These apologies were viewed as him trying to control the damage that was done to his career. Although DaBaby during this time did remain active musically, his music just didn't have the same commercial success as his earlier work. His album sales and streaming numbers saw noticeable drops, which reflected his diminished mainstream appeal. He's also faced struggles with live performances, such as the widely reported New Orleans concert in 2022, where fewer than 500 tickets were sold. Overall, DaBaby attempts to recapture his level of popularity and fame was eventually met with silence. He lost the support of the general public, radio stations, streaming services, and the big budget his record label once dumped on him, so the industry support he was used to having vanished right in front of his eyes. His career, once defined by hit singles and viral moments, is now more characterized by attempts to rebuild his public persona and navigate the fallout from his very problematic behavior. While DaBaby remains active in the industry, his fall-off serves as a reminder of how quickly things can change in the world of hip-hop and stardom. Anyway, if you made it this far, I appreciate you for watching. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like on it, and if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. What do you guys think about this entire topic regarding DaBaby and his fall-off? Curious to hear what you guys have to say, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace. I'm out.
Oh man. Well, chat, that's not good. I'm surprised they didn't go into the depths of the situation with Danny Lay, since it is that was also public as well. Someone said missed opportunity to call it DaBaby DaFall Off. Okay, but Blackie Speaks, shout outs to you. Thank you so much for the video. Shout outs to y'all in the chat. Shout outs to you at home, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.